What's up? It's Content Queen Atika Green back at you with another video. So I ain't been drinking, y'all, or enjoying any THC products, if you know what that means. So cheers to SoberTober. What is SoberTober? SoberTober is just the month in October that I decided with my best friend not to drink or to enjoy any THC products. And I wanted to talk about my reflections on this and kind of why I did it. So let's hop in. So as far as the why, I'm a big advocate for like detoxing and trying new things. And it was something that I had saw on YouTube that some other people were talking about, like quitting cold turkey and stuff like that. And I have felt like during the pandemic, you know, my friends and I kind of like overindulged in some of those things. I'm sure a lot of people did around the world. They had their coping mechanisms, but that was definitely one of mine that I overindulged in. And it just continued this cycle of overindulging and enjoying it so much to the point that I didn't even realize it had become a problem in a sense. I felt like it was sort of an addiction, but more so when I think about it, it was a coping mechanism. It was something that I did, you know, to numb out my feelings, emotions, or not to deal with certain things head on when it was happening. And when I took on the steps to do SoberTober, it wasn't easy in the beginning. It was, you know, when you're used to doing something so much, like I had the urges to either have a drink or, you know, hit the J or whatever. But it was a really good time to check out my discipline, my balance in like life and what I did. And as being an artist, as you all know, I'm an actor, but I'm an artist, creative altogether. As being someone like that who deals with rejection and emotions at the surface 24/7, those were ways that I wouldn't have to face it, you know. But your girl is at least 30 days sober, and I'm grateful and I'm excited for the next journey and part of my life. I think that I want to figure out a way to just use it in moderation, or, you know, not go back to that space of having the addictive personality of codependency on something that I know is for fun, and, you know, you can do it for fun, but also something that I know doesn't really serve me in the long run. So yeah, I got some questions for myself. It taught me that I'm stronger than I think I am. It taught me about myself and just like my mind and how it works, and how some things that certain behaviors that would come out when I was intoxicated wouldn't really serve me and for who I wanted to be, and also like how I want to show up in the world and as a person. I wasn't really happy with some of the decisions that I made during my intoxicated and inebriated times. So I don't really desire going back into that space again. Like, it's okay to have a drink or two here and there, or, you know, maybe to smoke in moderation, but to do it on the regular or have edibles on a regular, things like that, I know for me, it doesn't really work well with my psychosis and how I show up in the world. So I, within being sober for those 30 days, I really want to make a cognitive, whatever the word is, decision to be focused on my betterment and my healing. And I know healing does not necessarily mean enjoying these things out of moderation in excess, basically. Some of my reflections was just that I you know, got to see myself and how I face those problems head on when I am sober. Like some of the things that come up when I'm sober in my mind, whether it's like depressing thoughts or like when things happen, instead of headed to one of those coping mechanisms, I had to rely on myself. I had to meditate more, I had to pray more, I had to journal more. I had to really just like ground myself in those times. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was easy, because I was so used to those coping mechanisms that, you know, sometimes I wanted to go to those things. And also just being around other folks who I have indulged with before with those things. They're still gonna do their thing, which is totally fine. But I had to find some self-control within myself to say no. Say no. Realization is that I've been putting off my healing for way too long, and I am going to dedicate the next year of my life, my birthday coming up, dedicate the next year of my life to that healing journey for real, and really, really wean off of some of those coping mechanisms. I don't think that I'll be entirely sober for the rest of my life, but I would like to enjoy it in moderation. And I think that with the break, it has pushed me to not really desire it as much, or even, I could say no, because I know I know that no is possible for me. It didn't feel possible at a point. And I feel like my next steps are to really, keep the word to myself, continue to learn some of my triggers and some of those things that kind of led me to those coping mechanisms when I know it wasn't serving, finding out other ways to cope and other ways to get through. I want to make a dedication to my body and my health. I feel like that is something that I could put my energy into, and it's going to be a positive result versus like the other side of, some of those addictive personality and addictive things. They aren't always leading to a positive result, and when I think about my why, I think about my future self. I think about my family and friends who are closest to me, who have experienced me under the influence and maybe have told me stories about myself that I'm not really proud of, or, have told me that they worry about me in those spaces. And it's funny how you think that you can't not do something, or something seems so difficult until you do it, and it's like, oh, it's not as hard as I thought it was, or you just see the value in it. And I think that that's what it was for me. I want to be the best version of myself whenever I can. That's always my goal, was my focus. And I know that that was a part of me that wasn't serving, that wasn't helping me get to the next level. I may think I'm being productive, but if I'm using THC products and I'm spending my day just floating, I'm not getting things done, versus using that as a reward, or using it socially, or, not using it at all. We'll see what that turns out to be for me. I'm not putting any pressure on myself, but I know that it's important to me to figure out who I am outside of those things. So, SoberTober is coming to an end. I actually started a little bit before October, so 30 days are up. I did have a glass of wine after my 30 days, and it was cool. I was able to have a glass and not overindulge and have 3-4 glasses. And I think that I want to continue that way in my life. But it's just, I just want to remind you all, if there's something that you feel that is hard for you to let go of, that isn't serving you and a person you want to become, or the person that you are working towards becoming, I challenge you to give it up for 30 days and see how that helps. It takes 21 days to break a bad habit. And after those 21 days, the habit can be broken. So maybe it won't be have a hold on you as much as you thought it did, before. Give it a try. Let me know in the comments what you got going on, what's something that you want to let go of, and what's the positive reinforcement on the other side. So for me, I want to really get back into working out. I feel like before the pandemic, I was focused on that. I haven't been lately, and it shows. So I want to get back to my healthier self, which is also my happier self, which is also just a better relationship with my body and who I am. So let me know in the comments what you're going to work on, or what are some things that you want to let go of as you step into the new year in 2023, or if your birthday is at the end of the year like mine, as you step into your new season. And again, it's Content Queen Atika Green. Subscribe if you feel the vibe. Like, share, all that jazz. That helps your girl anyway. And I appreciate the love. Peace.